Well, a very good morning to you, my friends, and happy Tuesday. It is the 6th of August and it has been a while since I last said hi, so hello, I hope you're all doing well. Yeah, I'm sorry it's been quite a while since I've last done any vlogging. Life has been busy, lots of things have been happening, which I will update you with in a little while. This year has just flown by and just found it really hard to pick up the camera and vlog and do some sewing and show you all the things that are happening. But today we're making an effort. I'm slowly getting the vlogging bug back. There's some new projects happening in the sewing room I want to share with you. And yeah, I just thought I'd pop on and say hi and yeah, show you that I'm not dead. That just took a really weird turn. But everything is good. Just know that everything's good. Life's just been busy and I just haven't had any time or motivation to sew. That's pretty much it. But stick around, because today I have lots to talk about, lots to share, a new project that I've been working on in my sewing room. It's very colourful and fun. But before I do all that, you can see I'm out in nature. Vlogging in the wild is really scary. I'm really worried that there's people around me and watching me thinking, oh my gosh, what is she doing? But you know, who cares? So yeah, I am out at my local park. It is almost 11:15. It is 11:15 and we're going to have a walk. It's a lovely sunny day. It has been so cold and horrible, but today it's a lovely sunny day and I want to get out in the sun and do a lovely walk. I'm going to find a good podcast to listen to. Oh, or I might do an Apple Fitness walk. I'm not sure yet. We'll figure that out. Put my iPod's on, get my phone out of my pocket, and we will be ready to go. Lately, when I've been going on a walk, I have been listening to podcasts. I just find it really nice to just walk and listen to people just chat, and it also just kind of feels like I'm walking with friends without having to add to the conversation. I can just listen. My favorite podcast to listen to when I'm walking is an Australian-based podcast. It's by two of my favorite radio broadcasters, Miff Warhurst and Zan Rowe, and it's a podcast called Bang On. They just talk about music, art, life and stuff. That's pretty much their tagline. That's the podcast if you're interested in listening to it. And they just literally just sit and chat about all the things that are happening in pop culture, in art, in music, in life, just like I said. But they're really good friends, they have really great banter, and it just feels like I am just walking and listening to friends just having a chat. So if you want to know what's happening in the Australian zeitgeist, then check that podcast out, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. So enough waffle, more walking. Let's put these in and let's get going. Right, put my keys in my pocket, click squeak. I need a tissue. It's the thing about the cold weather, my nose just runs like a tap. Bring on spring, please. Okay, let's go. My walk is all done. It was a good walk today. I took my time. I've got a little bit of a dodgy knee at the moment. It's tender. I've got a tender knee at the moment. So I just took my time, and I'm also wearing different sneakers that I don't often wear, and I think it's giving me a blister. So that's another thing that just made today's walk just a little bit slower, but it was still good. Still good to get out of the house, get some sunshine, move the body a bit. But I thought before I venture off home, I could just give you a little bit of an update of why I haven't been vlogging, why I've been so quiet. As I mentioned at the start of the vlog, life has just been busy. At the start of this year has just been so crazy. It's just been hard to find times to get into the sewing room and vlog and to sew. I've also lost a lot of my motivation because I've been so busy, and it's just been really hard to get into a creative mind frame when you're busy doing things. I've been finishing my TAFE course. I finished that in the middle of July. So for those of you who don't know, I've For the last 18 months I've been studying library and information services. I was doing my Cert 3 last year and I finished my Cert 4 this year, so I am now a qualified library technician, and I've been trying my hardest to find a job, but I found it really hard. Who'd have known that the library industry would be such a hard industry to crack and to get into, mainly because nobody wants to leave their jobs because working in a library is so good. So the last 6 months, actually more than 6 months, I've been trying to get a job and just have not gotten anywhere, which has been a really big surprise and really quite hard to take, because I'd like to think that I'm a pretty good person to hire, but apparently not. So because I found that really hard in that sense, I'm moving on, doing something else now. So now that I've finished that course, I'm now starting a new one because I need to move on and start something different. I'm not going to keep trying to, like, what's the phrase? Beat a dead horse? Oh, that sounds awful. No, don't. I'm not going to use that phrase. But yeah, I just can't keep trying at something and continually fail. So I'm doing a new course. I've just started doing a Cert 3 in school-based education support. So by the end of that, I will hopefully be able to do support teaching or a teaching aid kind of role in schools, just helping kids who need extra help, need that extra person in class. Yeah, just being that support person in the class for the teacher is essentially what I'm studying. So that will take me through to the beginning of next year, and hopefully it will go somewhere. Yeah, that's just been a really big struggle this year and has just really stopped me from vlogging, because it's a bit hard to vlog when you're not really in the right frame of mind. You're not really happy about what's happening in life. Yeah, it's really hard to put that mask on, and it's also dented my creativity. I haven't wanted to sew. Instead, I've replaced it with reading. I've been reading a lot. I really have found a great love in reading, mainly because I've been doing my library course. But yeah, I've been finding some really great books to read and just sort of really cozied myself away with some really good books, which I will share when I get home with you. But I feel like I'm kind of coming out of that season of life where things feel good. I feel a little bit more, yeah, there seems to be a new purpose. Oh my gosh, I'm getting really deep now. But yeah, there's something new to strive for, a new goal, a new target, and there's new things happening in the sewing room. I've got a small little spark back, and yeah, I'm ready to share again. Just know life has been busy with study, with family things, and yeah, vlogging just sort of has taken a back seat the last couple of months. But now that I kind of have a new routine, a new week sort of schedule set up, I know the days that I can vlog, that I'm happy to share, and I can do some sewing and yeah, just get back into to vlogging again. This afternoon I will show you the project that I'm working on. It's something very fun, very colourful. I'm determined to get it finished. I'm so determined. It's a project I wanted to do last year, but I didn't get time to do it. This year, I'm cutting it fine because it's August. Winter is almost finished. Whether I'm going to get it finished in time for this season, I'm not sure. So you're not all wondering what it is. I'm making a quilt jacket. Quilt coat? Quilt jacket. What was I going to call it? I think it's a quilt jacket. Quilted jacket. Quilted coat. One of those. I wanted to make it for this winter, and as I said, winter is almost finished. Thank goodness. So I better get a move on to get it finished. I think I'm going to enjoy the sun and fresh air a little bit longer, and then I'll get going. What a lovely Tuesday this is turning out to be. Happy days. Okay, my friends, it is a little bit later on in the afternoon and we are back in the sewing room. Nothing much has changed. We've got a new little project up on the wall. I have shared that on my Instagram if you want to know a little bit more about it, but I will be chatting about that more possibly in other vlogs. But quickly, it is the Love and Kisses block from the Quilting with Liberty Fabrics book that I think I did a review in Vlogmas last year. I'll link that video here and also in the description as well if you want to check it out. But yeah, I've decided to make some more, and that's what I've done so far. But that is a project I will talk about a little bit later on. But this afternoon I'm going to show you the project that I was talking about this morning, and that is the quilt jacket that I've started. Quilt jacket, quilt coat, what have I decided to call it? Don't know yet. I'll show you the pattern that I am using. It is this one by Greenline Studios. It's on my iPad, so it's a little bit hard to maybe see. It's called the Tamarack Jacket. The main pattern is just a plain coat. It doesn't have a hood or a collar or anything like that. I am making the one with the hood, but you have to buy a separate sort of add-on pattern that has the hood and the collar if you want to make that version. So this is the added on pattern that has the hood and the collar. So I'm going to hopefully make one that looks something like this with the hood up the top. I don't know whether I'm sort of like thinking too big or what, but that's what we're going to do. So I was initially going to make the quilt jacket using all of the little mini hexie flowers that, you know, I've been making forever, but I did some quilt math and I will need to make at least 120 of these. It sounds ridiculous, but I'm pretty sure I've done the quilt math right. But yeah, 120 of these I need to make to be able to make this quilt jacket using these. I don't have time to make 120. I've scrapped that idea. I possibly will continue. Maybe I'll make another one sometime down the track. But because I'm just feeling a little bit impatient and I want to make this jacket, I'm just going to sideline the mini hexie flower idea and do the idea that I'm doing now. I kind of have no choice because I've already started it. So what I'm going to do instead, or what I have been doing instead, is I've gotten all of my beautiful leftover scraps of pastel solid fabrics and I'm patchworking them all together into just really sort of random odd sort of patchwork design, and yeah, making them into like the sizes of each of the pattern pieces. And there's my quilt coat. Just a really nice random sort of vibe. So for example, this is the one that I've just finished. This is going to be a front panel like so. I'm kind of sticking to really random sized pieces. I am actually adding in a few black and white elements as well, just to break it up a little bit. This is another front panel, lots of different sort of sizes and things. And then I pieced these two together for the sleeves. So I'm kind of going for a Dolly Parton quilt of many colors kind of vibe. If you don't know that song, find it on Spotify and listen to it. It's great. But this is the kind of vibe we're going for. Does it look ridiculous? Who cares? But yeah, it's just a really fun, patchworky, colourful, random type vibe we're going for. I'm also trying my best to use up scraps. I'm trying to be really conscious about not buying new things, using the things that I have, because I have so much fabric from my time working at Spotlight. I have just so much and I don't need it all, and I want to use it, and I want to use it in a really good economical type way, and yeah, just use what I have. So that's kind of the vibe we're going for. So it's going to be a really super colourful, really fun, really like just, I don't know, just a really fun quilt coat. Why not? So that's the idea. We have the two sleeves done, the two front parts done. I just now need to do the back panel and the hood panel. I still have plenty of fabrics. My sewing table is just absolutely strewn with fabric scraps, and I'm just sort of picking everything sort of at random, finding what colours sort of go well together. Like this little piece I'll possibly cut along that folded line, make that something, and then build around it kind of thing, like a almost like a messy patchwork type thing. And then I have lots of different sizes that will, yeah, kind of contribute to the different randomness of the panels. So that's what we're going for, that's what we're working with. It looks so much better in life than it does on the camera, so hopefully it's kind of like coming through okay. So I am highly motivated to get this finished as soon as I can. Whether I finish it in September, in spring, before Vlogmas, it is what it is. So I think this afternoon I'm just going to just get the back panel started, just start piecing together some random fabrics and yeah, build off it and see where it kind of goes. Free and easy. There's no sort of like there's no sort of agenda or sort of pre-planned kind of thought, and that's what I'm really enjoying at the moment. Just sort of really playing and just building just a really fun piece of textile, making it so I have this really great jacket at the end of it. Why not? So as always, I'm going to find some good music to listen to, possibly my Disney playlist, and have a good afternoon of sewing. Happy days. Well, a very good afternoon to you, my friends. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday. Yeah, it's the 7th of August today, and I hope you're doing well. I tell you what, it has been so cold today, so icy and chilly. My cup of tea is making me finally feel my fingers. But I just wanted to give you a quick update on what I've been working on, my quilt jacket. I have been doing a little bit more sewing on the back piece. What's it called? The section that I am working on is this one. It is the back piece. So this one will be cut on the fold. And let me just put my cup of tea down. So this is the back piece and it will be cut on the fold. So I need to make a piece of pieced fabric sort of wide enough to fit this when it's folded over that way, like that. So I'm not sure whether I'm actually going to make the pattern just a little bit smaller. I originally cut a size 24, but I've now taken it down to a size 22, but I think I'm going to do the size 20. I think I'm just going to have to remeasure things because I just feel like that's going to be way too big, but I'll figure that out a little bit later on. But yeah, this is the piece we are working on currently, and this is the piece that I've kind of done so far. So I still got to do like a little bit more on this edge to make it wider, and then obviously a little bit more going along this side so we have a nice sort of squarish rectangular kind of piece. But yeah, that's been today's little mission this afternoon. I possibly won't do any more today. I have been thinking about the fabric I'm going to do for the inside. I think I'm going to do black and white just to sort of tie in with all of the black and white sort of accents that I'm using. And if I find something that's just as like fun and colourful as the outside, I'll put that as the inside, and then maybe do a black and white sort of binding sort of detail. I don't know. I'm kind of going in with the mindset of just going with the flow with this one. I think I spoke a little bit about this yesterday, but not really having an agenda, just having everything kind of come together, organic, just not really overthinking it, and just having it be what it is, and just, you know, playing and having fun with the two kind of things that I love about fabric, colour and texture, and making them come together in a really fun way. Okay, my friends, it is a little bit later on in the evening and I'm about to get ready for bed, but I thought I would just take a couple of moments to share some of my favourite books that I've been reading this year, as well as the book that I'm currently reading and the two that I have sort of lined up ready to read, not including the other ones on my shelf that I need to read as well. I mentioned yesterday that I have been spending a lot of my time reading when I haven't been sewing or feeling like being creative in the sewing room. So yeah, over the past year and a bit, I have absolutely fallen in love with reading, mainly because of my library courses that I just did, but also I've always enjoyed reading, but just sort of finding that one book that sort of sparked the joy of reading. I found that last year or the year before. I think it was the year before, and it was the novel Fairy Tale by Stephen King. That book just totally made me fall in love with reading, and so that's where it all kind of began. If you've ever wanted to read a Stephen King novel and aren't really into like horror but want to sort of like see what kind of writing he does, I highly recommend reading Fairy Tale if you want like a fantasy escapism but Stephen King style. It's not too scary. I'm not into horror stuff, but I really enjoyed Fairy Tale, so yeah, read that one if you want to just dip your toe into a Stephen King novel. But I will try and make this quick, especially for those who aren't really into books, aren't really into reading, and really just want to watch me sew. We'll go through this quick. I'm not gonna like faff about it. First off, I'm just going to show you a few of my favorite books that I've read this year. These are the first two. I read these actually at the start of the year in summer, and I really enjoyed them. We got Daisy Jones and The Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was my first Taylor Jenkins Reid book, and I really enjoyed it. Really great little twist at the end as well, which kind of like made it really enjoyable. So yeah, really easy to read. Highly recommend that one. And then Circe by Madeline Miller. Madeline Miller also wrote the book The Song of Achilles, which I really enjoyed as well. It was a really lovely love story of sorts. And Circe is about a Greek goddess that got marooned or banished to an island. It's really good if you're into like Greek mythology and that kind of thing, which I am, which I never knew I was until I started reading books about Greek mythology. I really enjoyed that one, and I just love how it's a novel all about a powerful, strong woman. Just really good. Now I feel like I'm kind of right at the start of my reading journey, so I am so open to reading kind of anything and everything, maybe except horror. I'm not a horror person, so The Fairy Tale by Stephen King is kind of like my level. But because I'm new to the whole reading game, I'm exploring and reading anything and everything just to see kind of like where I sit and what type of things I like to read. I have noticed that I'm a romantic at heart, so I like all the romance novels. And I'm also discovering that I really like the fantasy romance novels as well. It's called Romantasy or something like that. I don't know. I'm not on the TikTok, so I don't know the lingo. But all of the romantic fantasy books that are going around at the moment, like Fourth Wing, what is it, a Court of Thorn and Roses or something? I've read that and I was like, oh, I'm not sure. But anyway, but books like Iron Flame, Fourth Wing and stuff like that, I've enjoyed. So I'm kind of roaming into that world, and I'm also roaming into romance and also just general fiction as well. So we've got a whole sort of like mismatch of everything. So a few of the books that I've recently been reading are romance. Some of them are romantasy fantasy, so romantasy, and then also just more general type fiction that's popular. So one of the romance genre ones that I've read is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I heard really great reviews about this one, and I read it and it was really lovely. It's a really cool kind of like time warpy type story where boy meets girl or girl meets boy in a time warp situation, and yeah, it's actually a really clever idea. And yeah, it was a fun little read. I read it in about 2 days, and the chapters are really short, and yeah, it was just a really fun little read. The next two books I've actually really enjoyed reading is Powerless and the follow-up book Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This one is again like a fantasy romance, enemies to lovers type vibe in a whole like fantasy world type thing. I would recommend this book if you are into enemies to lovers, if you're into really sarcastic banter between two characters. It does have dual point of view, so you read from both Peyton and Kai's point of view. But I just really enjoyed reading these. They were just a nice, lovely little escape from the world. Lots of violence though, and lots of like writing about blood and things, but not that bad. I don't know, I didn't really explain that very well. I just really enjoyed reading them. They were just a nice little fun escape from the world. Okay, so this next book is one that just really sort of tore at me and was quite I don't know, a little bit traumatic reading it. It's this one. It's called A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihari. I butchered that, I'm so sorry. But this book is a book that's making its rounds. It's kind of one of those tomes that you read it once and that's enough. This book, I hate it but I love it. I love it but I hate it. It is such a tragic story. Really hard themes to sort of read and sort of grasp, but it just had such beautiful writing about friendship and relationships and the bonds that you sort of share with each other. I cried reading this book, like not sobbing cried, but like tears and sort of like just feeling really quite emotional reading parts of this book. There are chapters in this book that the author has written that you just share such empathy for the characters, and there's a chapter as well that's all about grieving the loss of someone, and it was just written so lovely that I had to put the book down and just have a little bit of a sob because it was just really tragic. But there are also really nice bits about this book. It is ultimately a very tragic story with lots of really hard themes and situations that the main character Jude goes through, but just reading the lovely parts of friendship and relationship just kind of made me get through this book. You will get kind of like a quarter to halfway through and be like, I can't finish it. But you kind of also get to that point where you're like, I have to finish this. I have to know what happens. I warn you, if you do read this, it is a hard read, but it's also a read that will stay with you in a good and bad way. So because of that, I hate it, but I love it. I love it, but I hate it. And it's a thick book too, so you know, it's a read that you really gotta like be committed to. So those are the books that I have read this year, among other books that I have read, but they've all been library books, so I don't have them anymore. The book that I am currently reading, I've only just started it. I'm 4 chapters in, as this one here. It's called The Royal Librarian by Daisy Wood. I actually bought this for my mum for Mother's Day back in May, and she said it was a really nice, lovely story, and so she's like, yeah, I think you would enjoy it. So it's kind of set around World War II and then also in the present day, so it's kind of one of those books that kind of like go back and forth between the 2 different time frames. Yeah, four chapters in, and hopefully I'll like it. It's okay at the moment. The 2 books that I have on my nightstand ready for me to read are actually both fantasy romance. I see these all over social media, all of the book media, social media people, I don't know what they're called, but they all recommend these books, so I'm like, oh well, we'll see what they're like. The first one is this one. It's called When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, and I think this is like a whole world kind of book that has like its own laws and stuff. I think anything that has like a map at the front, you know that this is like a huge world kind of thing that you're going to be diving into, so you kind of got to brace yourself and get yourself ready. That one seems interesting, kind of caught my interest, so we'll read that soon. And then the other one is this one. This one's called The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadman. A lot of people say that this one's good as well. This one is vampires, I think. Vampires and humans. I don't know. Does this one have a map at the front? Yes, a map at the front. So that's a whole other world as well. This one here, this one is dragons and fae, I think. These sort of fantasy books I'm only sort of just getting into, so getting my head around all the lingo of whether they're vampires or fays or dragons or whatever it is. Yeah, I'm still kind of getting my head around all that kind of stuff, but I've heard good things about these books and hopefully I'll enjoy them. I'm so open to reading anything and everything just to sort of see where my interests lie, just as I said just a couple of moments ago. Yeah, so that's just my little book chat for this evening. I do recommend any of these books, even the ones that I haven't read, because I'm going off the recommendation of other people. Let me know in the comments below what you're reading currently and what you like to read. Give me some good book recommendations and I'll check them out and see if they're for me. I am so open to reading most things, as long as it's not horror. I'm not sure about crime and thrillers yet. I haven't really read any of those things, but yeah, I think I'm very much a romance, fantasy, world building type person. Yeah, I think that made sense. Okay, well, I'm gonna get myself ready for bed. I'm gonna get myself all nice and warm because it's chilly. It is so cold. I gotta put all these books away now and get into bed where it's nice and warm. Happy days. Well, a very good afternoon to my friends and happy Saturday. I hope you're all doing well. We are back in sewing room today and we are doing a little bit more on my quilted jacket I've been talking about in this vlog. I'm very happy to announce that I have pieced all of the panels for the jacket, sans the hood. I was going to do for this one the hood as well, but I think I'm just going to do the basic jacket. I scrapped the hood. I've had enough. I just kind of want to get started and making, but because I'm not doing the hood on this jacket, I've actually added something very exciting to the back panel of the jacket in lieu of the hood. I think if I had the hood I wouldn't have been able to add this because it would have been hidden. So here on the ironing board I have the back piece and I'm going to show you the fun little addition that I put on it. It's a Minnie Mouse. This is one of the very first machine embroidery designs that I did on my embroidery machine when I first got it, and it's just sort of been up on my corkboard here just as like a little sample, and I wanted to add it in. I'm like, let's use that, let's make it, you know, a really personalized Disney jacket. Why not? Because, you know, I love Disney. Hello. So if I've sort of got everything right, it's gonna sort of sit in the middle of my back, like maybe hopefully like between shoulder blades type position, but I'm really happy with it, and this back panel is so much fun. So I've had lots of fun actually piecing this one together. So I now have 5 panels to baste and quilt before I then put the pattern pieces on it and cut everything out and then piece it together. I have pulled some fabric from my stash for the inside of the jacket, so the lining type part, and I'm really happy with the fabrics I've chosen. The main fabric is going to be this really fun lion print. This is actually a Cloud 9 print that is from Spotlight years ago. It says 2019. The design is by Leah Duncan and it's from the range called Wild, and this one is called Organic Wild Lion in the Bush. So I thought that was really sweet. I kind of liked how it kind of brought in some of the colours that I've used. It's got the black and white elements. It's just really fun, and I've kind of got a lot of it. I'm not 100% sure if I actually have enough, which is why I have also pulled some cotton and steel fabrics that kind of match and kind of match here as well. So I'm almost going to do like a patchwork blocked out type lining. I can see it in my head. It's a little bit hard to like say what it's going to look like without showing you, but I think what I'm going to do for the back panel, we'll have this on the bottom with this sort of like along the top, so it's going to be split in half, and then I'll possibly do the same thing, like half of the sleeve panel is going to be this with this. I might actually put it like up the top or down the bottom, I'm not sure, but we'll do those two as a pair. And then I have this one, and I might do this one on the sleeves or maybe on the front, I'm not sure, but whatever I choose for the sleeves, I'll put it on the bottom of the sleeves so that when, if I need to roll the sleeves up, then this will sort of poke out as like a cuff type thing. Are you seeing the vision? Are you getting what I'm like trying to talk about? It's in here and I can see it clearly in here, and I think that that's all that matters. So if I can get what's in here and out into this, then you'll see what I mean. And then lastly, I think we're going to bind it with this black and white quite intense spot. I have so much of this. This is like, I think maybe like 3 meters, which I'm not going to need, but I need quite a lot of this because I need to cut it on the bias. It needs to be true bias binding because there are a lot of curves that this will cover. The bias binding will be used on the inside of the jacket to finish off the armholes, and also around the curved edges of the outside of the jacket. I think also around the neck. So there's a lot of curves and it needs to be true bias binding so it can stretch around those curves. So it's important to have enough so I can cut it in the right way. So that is the plan going ahead. I think for today I'll get all of the lining pieces sort of pieced together and ready to go, and maybe even start basting a few of the panels. I possibly won't spray baste. I'm thinking I might actually pin baste today, mainly because I don't have enough quilt spray, and they're little panels, so it's not going to be that hard to sort of like baste with pins and just quickly get them all quilted. So that is where we are up to in the quilt jacket journey. I actually quite like that alliteration, quilt jacket journey. It's fun to say. Alright, let's get into it and get closer to getting this jacket finished. Happy days, happy days, happy days. Well, a very good afternoon to you, my friends, and happy Wednesday. I hope you're all doing well. We're back in the sewing room as always, and this afternoon I thought I would do a little bit of piecing. I know I'm working on my quilt jacket, but I just kind of want to have a bit of a break to it and just do a little bit more piecing. Oh, you can't really see some of the blocks that I've been doing recently. So the blocks that I've been doing, oh, you can't really see, let me just adjust that so you can see. So the blocks that I've been doing up here are from this book, Quilting with Liberty Fabrics by Jenny Smith. It's actually a block that I did a review of in Vlogmas last year, I'm pretty sure. I haven't checked it since I last said it, but I think I did it last year. And the block is called Love and Kisses. Let me find it. I should be a little bit more organized than this. It's really windy outside at the moment, so things are rattling all over the place. But that's the sort of quilt overall, using lots of beautiful scrappy Liberty fabrics. And that's kind of the block in the quilt. That is the block that we are making, Love and Kisses. So I've done 2, 4, 6, 8 blocks so far, and I've got another 4 all cut up ready to piece, and so that's what we're going to do today, just because I feel like doing some piecing. I love spending a good afternoon just piecing and getting lost in thought and making and creating, and yeah, I really want to add more to this blank wall. It just looks so sad and boring. So I thought I'd share a little bit of the process with you today, because I've been editing this vlog and I've realized I haven't really done any sewing at all. I just sort of talked at you the whole time. Big thumbs up, 5 gold stars, big hugs and everything to the people who have made it this far and are still watching. Hi. I really appreciate that you're still here hanging around just listening to me chat. But yes, we have 4 more to piece today, and yeah, I think they're all going to look really quite sweet. Here are the ones that I'm doing. So the themes that I'm kind of doing with these blocks is pink hearts with lots of florals, but I'm actually going to do one that's a little bit rogue here. I'm actually going to do a black heart with a pink floral as an X kind of thing. So once I piece that block together, I'll show you what it looks like. We might not use it. I just want to see what it's going to be like to do like a block that's like completely different and have a black heart, you know, just for, you know, a little bit of intrigue and mystery. I don't know what I'm talking about, but we're going to do one with a black heart and see what it looks like. So let's get into it. I've got everything I need to do. We're going to do lots of half square triangles first, do lots of chain stitching, and sort of do them all together as a batch. Should be fun. Let's go. Well, a very good morning to you, my friends, and happy Thursday. It is the next day, and I thought I would end the vlog. I'm going to finally end this vlog. I know it's a long one, but I'm going to end the vlog by showing you just one of the blocks that I finished yesterday. It's the one with the little black heart, and I'm actually really quite happy with how it turned out. Look at that. I really like it. I love the stark contrast of the black heart with the pink, and just like how different it's gonna kind of like stand out with the rest of the blocks. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. I did manage to get a lot of the other blocks finished yesterday as well. They're all at the stage where they just need to be finally all pieced together to make the block. So I pieced together all of the center hearts. All of the half square triangles have been trimmed up and they're all just ready to be pieced together. But what I'll do now is I'll pop this up on the wall just to sort of put it somewhere, really. I think once all of the blocks have been done, I kind of want to put this black one in like a really random space or place. I don't want it in the center of the quilt. I kind of like want it down on the side, but yeah, I like it. It looks pretty cool. Nice. I just like how they're all like pretty fancy hearts and then you got black heart. I just like that contrast. Cool. So after a very long vlog, I'm gonna wrap this one up. August has been such a crazy month for me. It has had highs and lows and more highs. From where I started this month, or even this vlog, things have changed drastically and in a very good, happy way. I'm gonna let you know now that next week I'm actually starting a new job and it's a very, very exciting job. It's almost like a dream job and I cannot wait to get started. I will tell you in time what it is, what it's all about, but I just want to take some time just to start the job, settle in, get used to it, and yeah, I'll share it when the time comes that I feel good about sharing it. As I mentioned, it is a very exciting job, and I think once you all know what it is, you're all going to be very, very happy too. But anyway, I am going to spend the rest of the morning out in the sunshine. It is such a lovely day outside. Yesterday was so windy, but today it's nice and calm and sunny. Spring is on its way. I'm going to sit outside in the sun and read my book. Just quickly, I've been reading The Seven and the Wings of Night. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this earlier on in the vlog for one of the books I wanted to read. Well, I absolutely devoured it. It is such a good book. I just couldn't put it down. Just so good. And so I immediately went out and got the next book in the series, which is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, and I'm about, I think I'm like 9 chapters in and it's so good. I highly recommend this series if you want to check it out. It is about like vampires and fantasy and there's a slow burn romance and all that kind of stuff, but it's just a really, really good world building book. And yeah, I just really, really liked it. So it's a big recommend for me if you want to check those books out. So I'm going to go in the sun and do some reading and yeah, enjoy the rest of the day. I will do my very, very best not to leave you so long next time, and I will definitely keep in touch with how my new job goes. So until then, thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you all again sometime very, very soon. Bye bye.